More vaccine questions from viewers on this episode of Shareable Science Beyond the Blog. Welcome to Shareable Science. Science you can share. So let's continue with our second of a four-part series on questions commonly asked from viewers as it relates to COVID-19 vaccines. Who will get vaccinated first? So this is a little murky because the CDC has right now only given us the first hint of their recommendations, their priority 1A groups. And those are healthcare workers and long-term care residents and staff, folks that live in nursing homes and retirement centers. So those are the first candidates, and they'll get the vaccines that are currently available. And then the order of these things may change, but individuals generally expect that the next three classes of candidates will be essential workers who are not healthcare related, high-risk individuals because they have other extenuating factors that put them at a higher risk of serious illness, and individuals over the age of 65. Who's in the essential worker category is a bit of a question, and the specific order, but so stay tuned. But this is generally what we think the first round of candidates for the vaccine will look like. Question 2, do I need to continue wearing a mask after vaccination? The answer to that question is yes, and I know that you are probably not happy about that, but here's why that answer is yes. At the moment, most of these clinical trials focused on one thing. Does getting the vaccine protect you from getting ill from COVID? That is different from asking if getting the vaccine protects you from transmitting the virus. In other words, could you still be infected and you don't get sick, but you're asymptomatic and you could pass it on to someone else? We've got some early data from one of the candidates that suggests the vaccine provides that protection, but we don't have it from the others. So until we get that data, everyone needs to continue wearing a mask even if you've been vaccinated. Getting a vaccine is not a free license to run wild into crowds and hug random strangers. That's probably not a good idea anyway, but especially not now. All right, next question. How much will it cost me to get vaccinated? It will cost you nothing to get vaccinated. The cost of the vaccine itself is covered by the United States government. There may be a cost for the actual administration of the vaccine, but that's covered by insurance companies, and individuals that don't have insurance, there's a set of funding set aside to cover those costs as well. So your cost is nothing. Question 4, will this become an annual vaccine? It's too soon to tell. In order to answer that question, we need to know how long immunity lasts, both immunity from getting the virus on its own and from getting vaccinated and immunized against the virus. It's possible that we might see this show up as an annual vaccination. We just don't know yet. All right, question number 5. Are these vaccines made with fetal stem cells? So I'm going to dive into the weeds of this a little bit because I think there are some nuances that are worth understanding. So I've seen the Facebook posts that say that these vaccines were made with freshly harvested fetal lung cells from terminated fetuses. That is false. There are no freshly harvested fetal cells in the making of these vaccines. Some vaccines actually do use stem cell lines that were developed in the 70s and 80s from electively terminated pregnancies. So those are fetal cell lines from terminations, but those are cell lines that were established, again, 30 or 40 years ago. They're commonly used in the development of many vaccines, but not all vaccines. And then here's another really important point. Are we talking about using those cells to develop and produce the vaccine, or to do confirmatory testing to show that the vaccine is effective? In many cases, some of the vaccines don't use fetal cell lines to develop and produce them, but did use them in confirmatory testing. Other vaccine candidates use those cell lines in all those different phases. So it's important to understand the difference. The two vaccines that have completed clinical trials as of today, December the 14th, the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines, or mRNA vaccines, they were not developed or produced using fetal stem cells, although they did have some confirmatory testing with fetal stem cells. If you'd like to dig much deeper into this data, I would point you to this website. This is a group that has listed out all of the different known vaccine candidates and whether fetal stem cells were used in the development, production, or confirmatory testing. So that's our second video with another round of questions. More videos are on the way. Next, we'll take a look at the specific clinical information around the Pfizer vaccine, the one that's now received emergency use authorization. I hope you find these useful. I know that there's a lot of excitement around vaccines. There's also a lot of conflicting information. We're creating this series to try to provide you answers and, again, separate out fact from fiction and fear. If you know someone who might find this useful, please share this video with them. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Shareable Science Beyond the Blog. Take care.